Everyone's talking about AI, but who's actually implementing it? I'm Jenna Ahern, the CEO of Guardian Owl Digital, a search engine marketing firm rooted in integrity and transparency in the digital age. AI and marketing are at a crossroads, and the technology is moving faster than most business leaders can keep up with. That's why we created Go AI, a podcast series where we interview leaders in various industries about all things artificial intelligence. With each guest, my co-host Connor Rafferty and I will explore the applications that this rapidly evolving technology has for business leaders and their industries. Let's go AI.
Welcome everybody to the Go AI podcast remote recording with Cordell Robinson. Would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. My name is Cordell Robinson. I am the CEO of Brownstone Consulting Firm, and we are based in Washington, D.C., but we have offices globally.
Would you like to start us off by just giving us your journey with AI so far?
Sure. So my main focus is AI governance and cybersecurity with AI, which is, AI governance is a big part of it. So my start with AI was basically dealing with LLMs, seeing how they work, analyzing them. And then I moved into agents, agentic AI now, and getting really into that. So the journey is just basically stacking on the knowledge of understanding how AI works, the advantages of AI, and also understanding the dangerous elements of AI so that I can provide the best protective services and governance for all types of AI.
And what is it about, because you have a technical background, obviously, what is it about AI that really stands out to you as far as, you've seen quite a bit of tech and cybersecurity background. With the Navy, you had a kind of a tech-related role there. What is it about AI that really stands out to you?
I think the biggest thing that stands out is the efficiency of it when used properly. So it can be extremely efficient, which can speed up getting lots of projects and work done. It also can help with costs because you don't need as many people. You still need people. So people get mistaken and think that AI will replace humans. That's not true. AI will just replace humans that do not know how to use AI properly. So understanding it from a technical and cybersecurity aspect, I understand the need for AI so that we can advance as a human race, but to also make sure that we are using it in an ethical and secure manner as well, and ensuring that we basically encapsulate governance around it, no matter how we deploy it. So even if we're a small business, a small entity, a small government agency in a small town or big city, making sure that we wrap governance around it and it can be expensive, but it's best to spend the money on the governance instead of allowing something to happen, because once something happens, you're going to spend probably triple or quadruple to fix it.
And joining us now is Jenna Ahern.
Hi, Cordell. How are you?
Hi, Jenna. I'm good. How are you doing, Jenna?
Good. Sorry for being late today.
Oh, no problem.
Oh, no.
We're just a couple questions in right now, talking about Cordell's general journey with AI. Would you like to give us a closer look about how you're integrating AI within Brownstone Consulting Firm?
Sure. So I first started using LLMs to put together documentation. So to do business with Department of Defense, we have to do what's called CMMC. So I use either LLMs to help create the documentation pretty fast or create answers, and so I can have proper policies and procedures. So I integrate into my environment. But before I integrate into my environment, I test it out to check all of the basically wrap governance around it to make sure that it's safe. What I have is AI that is not connected to the World Wide Web, to the internet. So whatever information that I feed it, not anyone from the outside can pick up my data or information. I'll make sure that I do that, and then also make sure that I'm using it as a tool to assist me and not to do the job for me, because that's what it's meant to do, is to assist you, not to do the job for you, and make sure that understanding it, all my employees learn it, understand it. So everyone's required to do at least 2 to 4 hours of AI training per month for the next year. And then we have a monthly meeting to discuss where everybody is with learning with AI, because I want to make sure everyone in my company is sharp from junior to senior level to executive level. And then we're getting into agentic AI right now, dealing with agents. So everyone is learning that portion of it. It's more techie and development side. So some of the executives that are not very technical, they don't have to touch it so much because they won't really use it in their roles. But the technical folks, the engineers and developers will use it as we develop products because we're expanding our company, not just the governance part, but also creating products that will help organizations, corporations, government entities using agentic AI.
Cordell, you mentioned your before, obviously, same with businesses, right? I mean, you don't want to put anything confidential information out there unless it is secure. Is Are all the branches of government utilizing that same governance, or is it different by military branch? Can you talk a little bit about the challenges maybe of uniting all the branches and under one kind of governance, and maybe how you've approached that or how the government's approached that?
The federal government relies on NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, and NIST has a document out with AI with a few what they call controls and a few guidelines, but they haven't really published a actual special publication yet. So the entire federal government, from DoD to civilian federal government, they have not really adopted AI yet because they're waiting on NIST to actually put it out because they want to basically follow the exact same guidelines. And so they're a little bit behind right now, but as soon as NIST put it out, they're going to do that. So right now, CISA, they have some guidance as well. So a lot of federal agents are following CISA guidance and then the one NIST document right now. And then once NIST comes out with their special publication, the entire federal government will be mandated to follow that.
You're kind of sitting at this like, okay, purpose policy, right? Because
Yeah.
like this crossroads,
Yes.
because you have a big purpose, but you can't really move forward unless there's policy in place, right? So
Right.
that, I mean, that's hard.
It's very challenging. So, what myself and some other companies have done in the DC metro area, because we're a heartbeat away from the government, we work with them all day. We've come up with different AI governance frameworks to help
Okay.
out and help and educate and help the agencies understand. And so we make sure that they're all in line with each other. So we partner and talk with each other, make sure we're all speaking the same language so that once NIST does come out with their special publication, it's not going to be that much different because they have special publication for non-AI technology. They're just going to layer it on top and have like probably either a control family or a whole separate document for it. I'm assuming a separate document because it's a lot. So right now we're kind of like in limbo a little bit, but we're trying to at least educate the government as much as we can with our governance frameworks.
I'd like to pull back to a kind of more bigger picture perspective on AI governance. Could you give us a clearer understanding for our audience of what exactly you mean by AI governance?
Sure. So AI governance is basically policies and procedures that you would have to follow to implement AI into your environment. So basically, it says you just can't go out and buy an AI tool, install it into your environment, fire it up, and then you start using it. Can't do that. You have to go out, you have to basically assess it, look at it, you have to scan it, you have to evaluate it, you have to look at the company's policies and procedures first. And if they don't meet certain standards, then you should not use them, especially if they're from certain foreign entities. We would recommend that you don't use them. Especially we have so many adversaries out there from different countries, as we know, that hack into our systems all the time. They're sitting in our systems. I was just watching 60 Minutes from October 12th, how, the Chinese were in over 200 networks across America and they didn't know it. And
Can you
so,
actually talk a little bit about that? That's a great. Can you just peel back that onion a little bit for us?
mhm,
Because not everybody
yes.
does know that.
Yeah, they don't. So I forget the general's name, four-star general. So he was talking on 60 Minutes about there's a small town in Massachusetts and their water treatment plant was hacked. And they found out that the Chinese were inside their system. They didn't know this. And so the NSA basically alerted them and said, hey, they're in your system. And so what they did was they compromised their user ID and passwords. And they basically could have change things to contaminate their water to kill everyone in that town. And so once they did a deeper dive, they found out that they were actually in over 200 towns across the United States of America. And they were not in any major cities whatsoever. They were literally purposely in small towns so that one, they would go unnoticed because a lot of small towns don't have cybersecurity, governance, or anything at all. And kind of to throw AI in there, some of them are trying to move to AI. Well, don't move to anything until you secure your network. So I know that that one town they had to spend $50,000 to rebuild a brand new network, which is insane. So now instead of you spending $50,000 to build a network, you could have spent to $50,000 to get your cybersecurity house in order, and then that wouldn't have happened. But now you have to spend the $50,000 for your network, and then another $50,000 to make sure you encapsulate it with some type of cybersecurity frameworks and governance and technical aspects with penetration testing.
So, can you talk to me about, for instance, I'm a business owner, and I think that this is great because, again, I think there's a gap between what you do and what you know. And I don't know, Connor, the majority of business owners we talk to and their awareness maybe of the security threat. And I talk to business owners that aren't even really, they don't have cyber security or they haven't really revisited their insurance policy in years. And I'm like, I think that this is something we should all be talking about and looking at here in
Yes,
Q4. So,
definitely. So
clients, like, what does that look like?
yeah, so definitely. So one, I believe every business that should have some type of cybersecurity insurance if you are on the internet. And then two, we need to move from a reactive mindset to a proactive mindset because I've talked to business owners as well that, they're not really into technology, law firms, manufacturing companies, small municipalities, and they're like, oh, well, we haven't been breached, we haven't been hacked, we haven't had a problem. I'm like, do you know if you have a problem or not? You don't know because you've never tested your environment. You've never done a penetration test. You've never done a vulnerability scan. You don't have any policies for your people because maybe someone's clicking on something that's working for you and they've let somebody in. Like, how do you know? Oh, well, I don't know, but nothing's happened. I'm like, well, it hasn't happened yet. Because sometimes they sit there for years and then they get you because they're like, oh, well, let's see what their operations are. So they sit there and study all your operations. They look at all your files, all the details, and figure out what they can do to shut you down or cause some type of disruption to your business. And you don't know. So it could be 2, 3 years, and then boom, you have this problem. And you're like, well, where did that come from? And they've then been there the whole time. And so you just can't use antivirus to go back to a backup because they're into all of your backups now. And so now you have to basically throw out all of your equipment and rebuild your entire network. And then you have to spend money on training your people as well, which costs money. So it's training, it is the governance, it is the technologies. It's like all of these different things that could have been avoided with proactivity instead of being reactive. And it's just insane because I even talked to my VP went to her dentist and was like, hey, have any cybersecurity? And that's PHI, private health information, people's dental records. And she's like, oh, yeah. She's like, oh, no, nothing's ever happened. So I'm not worried about it. I think you should worry about it because if someone breaches and steals those patients' information, you're going to get sued. And that's going to be a problem. So you may not be a dentist anymore if that happens. And so people need to think like that, I think, instead of like, oh, yeah.
Well, wait, Cordell, I mean, like, but you may be the first person that they speak to that even, like, alerts them to this being a fear or even a possibility, which
Mhm.
I think is very terrifying that technology is moving so fast and the gap of education of, like, what you need to do just to be safe as a citizen, let alone be then, like, protected as a business owner. So you mentioned a lot in there. It was just juicy with intel. You said an implementation, or what was the test that someone could try? Can they get that through you? Can you talk to us
Mhm.
about that? And that
Sure.
was
So yeah. So what we do is called a penetration test. So
great.
what we do is we penetrate your network from the outside and the inside. So from the outside, we get inside your network, and then inside your network, we test it to see what your employees are doing. What are they clicking on? And then we do a part of that is social engineering. So we'll do phone calls or we'll send emails and things like that. And it looks legitimate, like it's coming from you possibly. And they wouldn't know. So then they may respond back, or someone may call them and talk to them on the phone. It may sound legit. They can use AI now where the voice sounds exactly like you. And so they think they're talking to you, and they start giving all this information because they're not properly trained. Yeah.
Let's get a little bit more into the intersection between AI and cybersecurity. You mentioned the voice generative AI that can mimic human voices, specific human voices. What other AI, I mean, there's tools for good and tools for not so good with AI when it comes to cybersecurity. What are some of the significant ones that you've been seeing?
So the two is voice and video. So I did this basically kind of case study. They didn't know this, but I knew what I was doing. So, there's scammers out there all the time. So I said, oh, okay, I'm going to mess with these scammers. And so they send you these text messages and all that. I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm interested with your crypto, whatever. And so I said, but let's do a video call. I want to see your face. So they did a
Ooh.
video call, and they used AI video to talk to me. And I just talked to him like it's normal. And then after we got off the phone, I texted him. I said, thank you very much. That video call was AI. Do not call my phone again. And then I blocked them.
Ooh, I love this.
Yeah.
You have this knowledge though, so you can be confident in knowing. I'm thinking about like Connor like baby boomers of like,
Mm-mm.
I don't know. It wouldn't be think to ask that. So
Yeah, so I think the first step is for every company at a minimum, like if they don't have a big budget, at a minimum is to have someone come in and do cybersecurity awareness training. So my company offers like everything. We offer this awareness training, the penetration testing, the vulnerability scanning, the governance, all of those things. So, and the first thing I say, hey, if your budget's low, let's start with the training so that at least your employees and everybody to senior level executives have the actual basic training. And our training is not just for work, but we include in the training what they can do in their personal lives to avoid threats against their bank accounts and their utility bills and things like that. So we help them really open their minds to different things. And then we run tests on them too that they don't even know. So maybe one person in a company knows that we're doing it. Maybe the CEO or the CIO may know and tell no one else that this exercise is going on when we first start. And we first start with social engineering. And so then when we begin training, we say, hey, we did a social engineering exercise that you didn't know about. And here's all the issues that we found. This person did this. This person said this person said that. And we're not trying to put anyone on the spot, but these are your weaknesses here from the human element. And then we go into the technical element. Your technology, here's all the holes within your technology.
okay, Cordell, that's special that you're leading with a human, in my opinion, a human-centric approach where you're actually starting with, hey, here are the humans at your company and social engineering things that we found. Oh, and then here's the technical part. Talk to us about how that strategy was born. I mean, I know all cybersecurity firms aren't doing that. So tell us a little bit about it.
So I hear this sometimes when people talk about like cybersecurity governance and things like that, and they're like, oh, and compliance, oh, that's not real cybersecurity. And I'm like, it is real cybersecurity because it starts with humans. Humans are the biggest threat to
Yeah.
every environment across this planet. It starts with the humans, including AI. If a human uses AI wrong, it's going to be wrong. If a human uses any technology wrong, it's going to cause a problem. So I always like to start with the biggest common denominator to every issue, with is a human being, and then work my way into the technologies. Because most likely the error in the technology is because maybe there's some development code that was wrong, that was written by what? A human.
And yeah, let's narrow down the human error first.
Yeah. And once we do that, then people open their eyes. They're like, "Oh wow, I didn't think of that," or "Oh wow, I didn't know," or "I wasn't aware of that." And so then they become more aware and a little bit more cautious. And I say, don't be afraid of technology. Embrace it. Just be aware of what's going on so that you are protecting yourself and the company that you're working for. Because if your company's breached and something major happens, you could be out of a job. It could become that major. And so you're not just protecting the company's interests, but you're protecting your employment as well.
What is there one thing that you wish more organizations would know about AI governance before they consult with you?
Sure. So I think more organizations should know that AI governance is not just a check in a box to say, go around and tell everyone, oh, I've gone through an AI governance exercise. Here's my certificate or document, and I'm good to go. I want them to understand that there was a lesson learned, and a lesson learned through the humans and the technology. So the humans learned a lesson, and then the technology has been relearned because now your LLMs, they can put in the right prompts into the LLMs so that they are putting out accurate, secure data instead of inaccurate, very insecure data that can be very dangerous.
Can you talk to us, Cordell, about I mean, you're passionate about this and you don't have to do all these things to serve businesses prior to them even reaching out to you and doing business with you. So what has fueled that type of approach in your consulting firm?
I'm a big humanitarian. So I have a foundation and I have orphans in Tanzania. And so I think that we as humans, as we move forward into a very advanced technological world, I want to be basically a pioneer of keeping us safe. I want to be that go-to company and I want to spread the love and spread the knowledge like as much as I can so that other companies can also jump in, rise up, have some of my teaming partners that are also jumping in and doing it. And I think it's really good. And once we bring that awareness, people embrace it more because a lot of people don't embrace it because if you don't know or understand it, then you're not going to want to embrace it because a lot of people, the unknown is scary. But once it's known, they're like, "Oh, I'm going to embrace this now. I get it. And this makes sense." And so, and also once they realize it's not complicated, it really isn't, then they really embrace it more. So it makes me happy to protect people and also walk away that their environments are protected.
I can feel that through the screen. So, yes, I value that. And our companies are certainly aligned, Cordell. So, thank
So,
you for spreading that.
yes, of course.
This conversation's really flown by for me.
I
So I
know.
would like to ask one last big picture question to wrap it up. Is there any big issues that you would like to touch on with AI compliance in the near future or that you foresee in even beyond the near future that you think all organizations, public or private, should be preparing for?
I think a big issue with AI globally is going to be huge disinformation campaigns that are going to be of cataclysmic events globally. There's going to be power grids going down, water treatment plants going down, poison into the water. There's going to be planes falling out of the sky. It's just a fact, right? Unless we get our governance house in order, our academia, our education around this in order, and people really learn to actually embrace the technology, but embrace it in a ethical and respectful manner. And I think then we'll have a safer world. And I think also with AI governance and technology and cybersecurity, I think once we do that and we're so connected, I think also it will help us communicate a little bit more clearer and more clean. One major project that I'm working on, hope to be done by December, is an agentic AI penetration tester. So you don't need to hire a team all the time. I had heard this from another person that's doing it. And so I started doing my own research and I was like, oh, me and my team, we can build this ourselves. And so we're building it. And so we'll be launching that so people can have basically a penetration tester running 24/7, 365 and reports shot to them once a day, once a week, or however. So then they don't have to worry about, once a year, I got to have this team come in, do this penetration test. This is going to be like crazy. It's like you're constantly knowing what's going on in your environment. And I think that's going to be really important because more companies are going to come up with this as well. And I would love to team with them. You know, I'm not really into like competing in those arenas. I prefer teaming because I think teaming is more important than the competition side because the mission is to secure, not to just like compete for the money. It's to secure because once you secure everyone, everyone is happy. And then the money is later because you got to pay the bills. But my mission is to secure.
Yeah, no, and I love that, and I'm so glad that you took the time to spread that, and we will update the show notes to when you roll that out, we will update it, but we'll put your website and everything in the show notes so that people can find you, Cordell. We certainly want to be a part of it in sharing your mission, and that's what we preach to us. Teamwork is making the dream work, and for us right now, the dream is really being able to shape that security, right, for humans. And so love that everything that you're doing, the work that you're doing in the world, it is so, so important now more than ever. So thank you for spending time with us today, Cordell.
Yes.
Is there any just last words of wisdom that you'd like to leave the audience with?
Sure. Well, first, thank you for having me. This was amazing. You both were a pleasure. But some last words I would have for the audience is embrace technology with intent, with impact, and with purpose. And when you do that from a mindset of positivity and awareness, then I think success is inevitable.
Agreed. Agreed. Cordell, thank you so much. We will be sending you just the revised, edited version, and then we'll be promoting and tagging you and sharing your mission across social media. So
Awesome.
we believe in you. And so please keep in touch.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
being a guest on Go AI.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Go AI. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and review our podcast so we can continue to grow and offer more great AI content. If you're looking for digital marketing, digital transformation, or AI help, make sure you visit www.guardianowdigital.com. Have questions? Email team@guardianowdigital.com for answers. See you next time on Go AI.